This game was sent to us by our good pal Matt from Nova Scotia, and with his generous donation, he attached a letter that reads, "I have for you the all-time NES classic about shattering stuff with your hands, Shatterhand." There's like 9 exclamation points too. Well said, Matt! In fact, I just used it as the intro. You shall receive no royalties! Released way back in 1991, Shatterhand was developed by Natsume. Yes, that's the same Natsume that makes the Harvest Moon games. But way before farming was their calling card, Natsume developed a few pretty interesting beat-em-ups, this being one of them. Shatterhand isn't the most original release on the NES, but it is a fantastic brawler that really does rival its more popular peers. The gimmick of Shatterhand is reflected by its title. You play as a guy with prosthetic hands that are basically little weapons of mass destruction. Dude can punch through almost anything. Walls, bullets, people. These fatal fists are basically the entire point of Shatterhand. So most of the combat is obviously hand-to-hand. And that means patience is a virtue because you really have to time your punches and wait for the right opening. And again, patience is something I have very little of, which is probably plainly evident in the footage. All this ducking and countering and timing punches. Screw this! Somebody get me a bow staff! Unfortunately, if you collect 3 power-ups, you get a little robot buddy who drops the tough guy act and finally unleashes some real weaponry. I mean, who needs fists when lasers are readily available? Obviously, a tough guy with silly glasses. Nonetheless, the great thing about the power-ups is that they actually change when you punch them, and the abilities you gain depend on the combination of power-ups you grab. Anyway, Shatterhand was released fairly late in the NES lifespan, so the game has a polish that makes its smart game design all the more enjoyable. You have to make your way through plenty of unique environments, and they all look great. Plus the levels are just brilliantly laid out, and there are some very clever game mechanics at work in this thing. A lot of it was actually pretty ahead of its time. If you're a fan of classic NES beat-em-ups, Batman, River City Ransom, the Ninja Turtle games, you know the list. This is one you absolutely should look into. Those other games might be more popular, but in a lot of ways, Shatterhand deserves the same kind of praise. It's an 8-bit gem that still packs a punch.